Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the act, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to reiterate things that have already been said, and certainly not things that I said at the outset of this debate. I just want to conclude my thoughts on this with pointing out the actual numbers here and what we're really debating. We are going to, if this bill passes, change the fabric of this state. We're going to be the first state in the nation to enact these types of truck tolls, which is not a leading indicator I think we want to be in the forefront of. And we are going to set up a system whereby tolling is going to be an indefinite part of our future. What are we getting for that? Listening to the testimony in House Finance a week ago and listening to Director Altaviti and the projections, there's really two main funding components to this legislation. The first is the Garvey bonds. And just so everyone knows, I think you all do, but just in case anyone does not, the Garvey bonds are essentially a way of bonding out future federal highway funding. We are going to get, for this surge of construction, $300 million. This is the projection, $300 million up front at a debt service cost over the 15-year life of the bonds of $24 million per year. The tolls are projected by RIDOT, and I don't know if their projections will come in or not. We'll see, I guess, given the way this debate's gone. The tolls are projected to take in $45 million, but there are operational costs to the tolls. Now, according to a director, the operational cost of the tolls will be about 5% of the revenue. Now, I will tell you, I've had staff look at this. Tolling in other states shows that the operational costs are significantly higher than that, typically somewhere between 10 and 20%. However, in other states, they may have people working in the toll booths. They may be older systems. Presumably, this will be cutting edge. So just accepting a director's estimate as worded 5%, once you figure in operations losses, credit card fees, annual maintenance, you end up with around $4.5 million off of the 40. If you don't mind, I'm going to round that down to $5 million, round it up to $5 million. So basically, we're going to net $40 million from the tolls while paying out $24 million from the Garvey bonds, which means that for the next 15 years, this plan, if enacted according to the projections we've been given, results in a net gain of $16 million per year. Those are different buckets of money. I understand the money to repay the Garvey bonds has to come out of one bucket, and the money for the tolls goes in a different bucket. But the net gain to the state, based on the figures we were given, is $16 million per year. Yes, we get the $300 million up front, but it's $16 million per year. That's what we're talking about. After 15 years, presumably it goes up. The thing that has frustrated me most in this entire debate is this. I do not think we need tolls in this state, but I understand there are people who genuinely do believe we need tolls, and we can have that debate, and we've had some of that. But I will tell you this. As I said, this bill is 13 days old. There are other options out there, as I said at the outset. I don't want to rehash everything, but they have not been discussed. Our plan found money in the existing budget. And yes, it gored a lot of oxes or sacred cows, or whatever metaphor you want to use. Some of the stuff in our plan, we were looking to cut $60 million per year. Some of the stuff in our plan, I wouldn't necessarily want to cut either, but sacrifice requires sacrifice from everybody. Everybody can look at the budget and say, you can't cut that because that's important. But you know what? If we really want to fix the state's roads, what is our priority? The state's roads should be a top priority. As I said at the outset of this debate, we do need to do something, but we do not need to do it this way. If we're only going to net $16 million in toll money by doing this, what are we doing? Are we telling me we can't find that in the budget? Now, granted, that includes the debt service and the Garvey bonds. And I said at the outset, why not do a hybrid? Why not do a Garvey bond initiative, bond them out, take the $300 million, find the debt service of $24 million per year in our budget? We looked and we cut $60 million per year. A lot of people didn't like what we cut. I bet you could find $24 million. Every year we do the state budget, we seem to have rounding errors by the time we get there and get the thing done to balance, and we can find that money. The problem is, ultimately, the reason this body is about to pass tolls is because people in this room, and maybe we're representing our constituents, I don't know, and I say it collectively, maybe we are, the people in this room would rather toll trucks than cut the state funding from the projects that people think are important. It's a matter of priorities. We do not want to find the money elsewhere. We are not initiating tolls to fix bridges. We are initiating tolls to avoid cutting a $9 billion budget in a state with 1 million people. And there's no better reason why this is a bad piece of legislation. Obviously, I'm going to vote no. I hope I have nothing else to say tonight unless somebody gets me upset. And thank you for your time.
Clerk, unlock the machine. All in favor, please vote green. Those opposed, red. Clerk, lock the machine. 52 in favor, 21 opposed. The act prevails.